World Health Organization says there have been over 212,000 new coronavirus cases in the past 24 hours in the world. Now, the Ghanaian president has also gone into precautionary self-isolation after a close contact test positive to COVID-19. Joyce Ometo will tell us more on COVID-19 Global Update.
The World Health Organization says over 212,000 new cases of coronavirus were reported globally in 24 hours, the highest single-day increase since the start of the pandemic. The health agency says most of these new cases were reported in the US, Brazil, and India. The WHO also reported that it will stop the use of hydroxychloroquine and the combination of antiviral drugs after the medications failed to reduce mortality rates in COVID-19 patients. Meanwhile, statistics published by the Coronavirus Resource Center in Johns Hopkins University as at 6 p.m. local time says there are now 11,454,409 COVID-19 cases worldwide, with 534,877 mortalities. These figures show an increase of over 1.2 million new cases and over 32,000 new deaths in 1 week. Africa now has 468,040 infections, 11,137 deaths, and over 225,741 recoveries. Cases across the continent rose by 92,219. Back in Nigeria, a review of the daily reports of COVID-19 cases compiled by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control shows that a total of 4,090 new cases were recorded in the past week. The country now has 28,167 cases, 634 fatalities, and 11,462 recoveries. And just close by, Ghana's president has gone into precautionary self-isolation for 2 weeks, starting July 4, 2020, after one of his contacts was confirmed to have the illness. And that's a global update on COVID-19. Many thanks for watching. I am Joyce Ometo.
All right, we'll take more COVID-19 stories in a moment. After this story that just came in, President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned what he calls a dastardly act by Boko Haram terrorists on UN aid helicopters in the northeast, describing it as cowardly and yet another desperate rearguard action by the terrorist group who have been under intense pressure from the Nigerian military recently. In a statement, the president reassured the international community and Nigerians that the latest attack, which claimed the lives of 2 people, including a 5-year-old baby, would not go without severe consequences. The president stressed further that the security of foreigners and Nigerian citizens remain top priority of government, and everything necessary will be done to eliminate these remorseless enemies of humanity. He also appeals to all humanitarian and other aid workers in the region to, at all times, properly coordinate movements with the theater commander and other military authorities. And back to COVID-19 stories. COVID-19 pandemic is one that has had religious bodies in Nigeria worried, and many have turned up faith to combat the global scourge. Now, it is in this regards that Nigeria Inter-Religious Council, in another display of faith, organized national prayers to seek the face of God over the pandemic. Amara Chukwuemeka reports from the National Christian Center, where an interdenominational service held earlier today.
A health pandemic, the novel coronavirus, challenges the world in treatment and cure, as available research medication are yet to be certified. The Nigerian Inter-Religious Council believes seeking the face of God in prayers is necessary to eradicate the virus.
The national response that we have put in place is intended to protect the people of Nigeria. It is not designed to afflict us. Government has always been conscious of its responsibility to provide for the good and welfare of the people.
Turn to God only when in the face of danger. God gives us 168 hours a week, 1,440 minutes a day. How much time do we spend in conversation with God?
The church urged faithful and other Nigerians to do away with lip services and rededicate themselves to the service of God and humanity.
So we are calling on God to intervene, because God is more powerful than any virus or any disease.
Of the people is the voice of God. So when we shout on Lord, our good Lord is not deaf.
While this congregation anchors its faith on God for solution to COVID-19, the necessity for Nigerians to strictly adhere to personal hygiene protocol echoed loudly in the service. In Abuja, Omeka Machuku, NTA News.
And the COVID-19 task force team in Cross River State has cautioned residents along the state's boundaries that the ease of the nation lockdown on interstate travels is not an excuse for careless lifestyles devoid of the NCDC's protocols on COVID-19. Now, the caution was part of the team's message to churches in Calabar during the COVID-19 preventive protocols compliance check in that state. Oku Ekpenyang reports.
It was a mild interruption of church services while welcoming the Cross River State COVID-19 Task Force team, who is reiterating the need to strictly adhere to safety precautions as regards COVID-19.
Please take responsibility. If you find any signs or symptoms, whether within yourself or someone around you, please immediately go and get tested free of charge.
With the cooperation of the Cross River State branch of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and some Christian clerics, the message here is that of taking responsibility for your health.
So far, those who have complied are more than those who have not. I think we still need some time. I think we need more effort now. About, I would say, maybe force to make them comply.
Visits like these by the Cross River State COVID-19 Task Force team to places of worship and other public spaces is a regular for the team in Calabar. Oku Ekpenyang, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Army is intensifying efforts on non-kinetic operations to further improve communication with the public. Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuburte, stated this in a message during distribution of COVID-19 palliatives to the people of Kaura Namoda in Zamfara State. And that's as part of activities marking 2020 Army Day celebration, as well as the 157 years anniversary. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa tells us more.
This symbolic presentation of food items signals the commencement of distribution of palliatives to the people of Kauranamoda in Zamfara State. The beneficiaries say this gesture will cushion the negative effects of coronavirus pandemic on their socio-economic well-being.
The distribution of palliatives to the good people of Kauranamoda, which is part of our civil-military cooperation-related activities and quick impact projects, is taking place simultaneously in various parts of the country in support of the civil populace.
The quick impact projects, the Nigerian Army notes, is in addition to aggressive military operations aimed at securing the area.
The Nigerian Army is leaving no stone unturned in curbing criminal activities and ensuring the general security of the country.
This is also a part of the Nigerian Army's efforts to ensure sustained peace and development, as well as an avenue to appreciate the civil populace for the cooperation with the Nigerian Army over the years.
Similar presentations were made to over 500 people in Faskari, Katsina State. From Kaura Namoda in Zamfara State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And the Force Commander Multinational Joint Task Force Major General Ibrahim Manu Yusuf commends the European and African Unions for enhancing operational efficiency of the MNJTF through provisions of some logistics. Now, a statement by the Chief of Military Public Information of the Joint Task Force, Colonel Timothy Antiga, indicates that Major General Yusuf gave the commendation at the launching of the quarterly supply of petroleum products in Sector 3, Monguno, Borno State. Now, the force commander notes that the funding by the European Union through the framework of the African Union has supported the joint task force operations in the region. The supply of the products began on June the 25th, 2020. And the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has announced new appointments and redeployments in the National Oil Company as part of ongoing efforts to strengthen and reposition NNPC for greater efficiency, transparency and profitability in line with the next agenda of Mr. President. A statement by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Dr. Kenny Obateru, indicates that the Group General Manager, Crude Oil Marketing Division, Adokie Tombemie, has been appointed the new Chief Operating Officer upstream, while the Managing Director of the Nigerian Gas Marketing Company, Mohammed Abdul Kabir Ahmed, has been appointed new Chief Operating Officer, Corporate Services. Several other top management officials have also been reappointed, including Elizabeth Aliyuda and Usman Farouk, who are now managing directors. Now, the statement also indicates that President Buhari has accepted the resignation of Roland Ubaram and Engineer Farouk Garba Said, thanking them for their meritorious service. And the Court of Appeal Abuja Division has upheld the election of Governor Yahaya Bello at the November 2019 Kogi State Election Petition Tribunal after dismissing the 4 appeals filed against his victory. Labode Arawa was there.
Failure of the Election Tribunal to take cognizance of the submissions that election malpractices took place during the November 16, 2019 Kogi governorship election were the grounds of appeals filed by Musa Wada of the PDP and Natasha Akpoti of the LDP. The appellate court held that despite conducting a forensic examination of the ballot papers, the appellants were unable to prove the allegations. The court subsequently dismissed the appeal for lacking in merit.
Their case was restricted to overvoting and alteration, and the court in the main found that they just dumped documents on the trial tribunal, expecting the court to tie their documents and didn't bring the appropriate witnesses to substantiate their case.
Our clients are not satisfied with the judgment and have right away instructed us to get a copy of the judgment and proceed on appeal to the Supreme Court.
On the appeals by Democratic People's Party and the Action People's Party, the court also affirmed decision of the tribunal that the appellants failed to substantiate their claims.
So now it is the Supreme Court of Nigeria now that will determine whether if it is INEC that determines valid nomination or it is the political party that determines valid nomination. So as far as we are concerned, we thank the Court of Appeal because even though the judgment is against us, but the main issue has been narrowed down. Justice Adamu Jaro, who led a panel of 5 justices, awarded 100,000 naira costs in favor of the respondents. In Abuja, Olabode, Nta2 News.
All right, let's quickly take another redeployment story, this time from the FRSC. And the Corps Marshal, Dr. Boboye Yemi, has approved the immediate redeployment of some senior officers of the Corps. According to the statement issued by the Corps Public Education Officer, Basic Azim, the Corps Marshal implored the concerned officers to remain steadfast in their new assignments and rededicate themselves to the challenges of moving the Corps to greater heights, particularly in the face of the current health challenges posed by COVID-19. EMA assured members of the public that the FRSC will remain committed to supporting the federal government in achieving its social and economic goals through safety on the highways. And cases of missing children is getting attention at the top level of government in Kano State. Now, the inauguration of the 16-member committee for the implementation of the recommendations of an investigation panel into the kidnap and sale of young children from the state is expected to end the scourge and bring relief to residents in that state. Abdullahi Mustafa reports that Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje gave marching orders to members of the committee to ensure everyone involved gets justice.
Members of the implementation committee were mostly those who served in the investigation panel that worked and gave recommendations on how to ensure justice for the victims and prevent future occurrence of such unfortunate incidents. It has as chairman a retired Kano High Court Judge Wada Umar Ranu, and membership from community and religious leaders, law enforcement agencies, civil society organizations, and the State Ministry of Justice.
The recommendations of the committee are many, and they require people with experience. And we found it that there are no better people with experience as far as that report is concerned than the same committee that did the investigation.
Will leave no stone unturned in the execution of this assignment.
He appealed for support and cooperation from all stakeholders to ensure successful discharge of the important assignment. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And from Bauchi State comes a report that following the suspension of the Emir of Misau, Ahmad Suleiman, and the local government's caretaker chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed has set up a committee to address land disputes and other related matters across the state. Mohammed Ibn Mohammed reports that the committee comprised the caretaker chairman of all the local government areas in the state and is expected to come up with solutions driven by best practices in terms of geographic information system as well as land management.
Looking at some of the contentious issues, not only in Misau but in the state generally, we met and discussed extensively with the 20 caretaker chairmen of both states and raised issues regarding the problem and challenges of managing our land use, and of course issues that are arising therefrom, which causes a lot of perception, disgruntlement, disagreement, and conflict.
Sequel to the recent clash in Malunje village of Zadawa ward in Misau local government area that resulted to loss of lives and other issues of land disputes across the state, the 19-member committee will visit villages and wards in the 20 local government areas of the state to ensure the establishment of cattle routes and rescue reserves from illegal allocation.
To investigate and determine if such government reserve areas have been illegally allocated by unauthorized persons or group of persons and those persons who are beneficiaries of such illegal allocations.
The 19-man committee has 4 weeks to submit its findings and recommendations. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, rain, and the rains are here, but in parts of the country, particularly in Ogun State, residents in high volume of rainfall and flood-prone areas in Abeokuta are counting their losses. But the story may soon be changing, but that's if the promise of the former state governor and senator representing Ogun's Central Senatorial District, Ibikunle Amosu, is anything to go by. Leko Agbonde tells us all about it.
In Abeokuta, whenever it rains for days, some streets, roads, and people's homes are usually heavily flooded. And when this happens, the roads and streets become impassable as most have developed potholes and gullies, resulting in heavy traffic congestion for motorists and passengers. The state former governor, Ibikunle Amosu, on a tour of the affected areas, expressed sadness for the level of damage. Places he inspected include Temidire, where the only bridge linking Ijeja to Igbore was damaged, Amolasho, and the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library, where the perimeter fence was also destroyed. Residents were delighted by his action, noting that the situation could have been worse, but for the good job undertaken by his administration to construct bridges in the various flood-prone areas of the metropolis. Areas like Ijaye, Isale-Igbeyin, Shokori, usually noted for devastating experiences when rain falls, however, had no serious issue this time. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
And Benue State government says it will continue to enforce its open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law, as well as other related matters in the state. Special advisor to the governor on security matters, Colonel Paul Hemba, emphasized this when the state livestock guards arrested 92 cows for flouting the law in the state. Charles Abba reports. Okay, we'll bring you that report. I'm not sure it's ready at the moment. Let's move on to other stories now. And the federal government, through its Ministry of Agriculture, has flagged off 2020 aerial spray against transboundary pests at Yola International Airport in Adamawa State. Simon Archer reports that the exercise is aimed at protecting farmers' investment for optimal productivity.
Global attention may be shifted to the fight against COVID-19 due to its devastating effect on the society. But killer birds destroy farm produce and need to be curtailed to enhance food security and sufficiency in the country.
I want to declare open the flag.
These developments necessitate the federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to officially flag off year 2020 area spray against transboundary pests in Yola as one of the 9 frontline states in the country that is affected by the effect of killer birds on its farming activities.
In Adamawa State, the area spray will be carried out in 9 local government areas. The public is hereby advised to be on the watch out for these birds and to avoid consumption of salt in order to ensure our safety.
With the official flag-off ceremony year 2020 area spray against transboundary pests in Adamawa State so as to enhance heat-free farming season due to the devastating effect of killer birds. This aircraft, Cessna 172, will be used to mitigate the effect of migratory pests on crop production so as to enhance food security and sustainability in the society.
They normally lay their eggs in taifa grasses or in places that you cannot easily access. That is the essence of using this fixed-wing aircraft. We are not killing all the birds, but the essence is to reduce, to mitigate, to decimate them to a level that they cannot be very, very destructive.
In Yola, Simon Asher, Nta2 News.
And for sports lovers, good news may be in the horizon. Super Eagles is tipped to qualify for 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Tamara Ebiwe tells us all about it.
Despite being grouped alongside Nigeria in the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers, coach of Central African Republic, Francois Zahoui, has tipped the Super Eagles of Nigeria as one of the teams to qualify for the Qatar Fiesta. Zahoui, who led Cote d'Ivoire to the final of the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations, said Nigeria are clear favorites, having participated in several World Cups and have the required experience. Nigeria will play alongside Central African Republic, Liberia and Cape Verde in the qualifiers. Still on football, Napoli manager Gennaro Gattuso says Nigerian forward Victor Osimhen is still a Lille player. The former AC Milan defensive midfielder Gattuso distanced himself from speculations about the 21-year-old Nigerian being linked to a move to the Sao Paulo. In basketball, the National Basketball Association (NBA) has announced its schedule of scrimmages in Orlando that will give teams a chance to prepare before the 2019-2020 season restarts. The NBA season is set to resume on July 30, having been suspended for 3 months due to COVID-19 pandemic. Tamara Ebiwe, Nta News.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed for the Super Eagles there. 8 days after the remains of the former governor of Oyo State were committed to murder earth, family and few Islamic clerics gathered to supplicate on his behalf. Dayo Ogunshala has the details.
The prayer session was held in strict compliance with COVID-19 protocols, with few family members in attendance. 2 Islamic clerics in their short exhortations shortly after the recitation of selected chapters of the Quran to intercede for Senator Abiola Ajimobi and join family of the deceased to sustain the legacy of the former governor. Close associates of the departed and other eminent Nigerians say the vacuum created by his death will be difficult to fill.
The focus is to keep supporting the family with prayers.
There is no way you write the history of Oyo State without mentioning the architect of modern Oyo State.
It transformed the landscape of Oyo State, especially many of the cities.
Senator Abiola Ajimobi died on 25th of June 2020 in Ibadan. Dayo Ogunshola, Nta News.
That's the much we have for you on the news segment of Newsline tonight. But don't go away. After the break, Becky will be back for continuation of the program.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
We dey catchy feelings, we dey cry.
Amaka, àbí kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?
Try. If you do better thing, you go thrive, mama.
Leave that house now.
Amaka. Stay where you are. You are going nowhere. Amaka!
For blockbuster movies like this, series and much more, download the Airtel TV app.
Mr. Announcer, you not tell them say this film is still there on top of fire. And say me, we see the shoot, oh.
Download the Airtel TV app from Apple and Android Play Store. Enjoy for 7 days data free.
Airtel TV by Airtel, the smartphone network.
This kind of nonsense has to end today. Why would the bank be removing somebody's money every time like that?
Mr. John.
My neighbor.
Yes, sir. Why are you rushing to like this?
Can you imagine? I just sent money for my son, and I got a debit alert of 15 naira from my bank as stamp duty. I am going to seek explanation from my bank because I made a transfer, not post a letter.
Mr. John, let me explain what stamp duty is. Stamp duty is not all about postage stamp matters. The 15 naira is a stamp duty levy charged by banks on customers who make transfers of 10,000 naira and above from one bank account to another bank account.
And why should I pay stamp duty for my hard-earned money?
Mr. John, paying stamp duty levy is a civic duty for every patriotic citizen. The taxes we all pay are collected and used by the government to pay salaries and provide basic amenities for citizens. It's even easier to make stamp duty payments now. All you need to do as a taxpayer is to log on to the following: www.stampduty.gov.ng or www.firs.gov.ng and click on e-stamping. By the way, Mr. John, it pays to pay your tax, you know.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you, my daughter.
You're welcome,
My
sir.
regards to your family.
All right, sir.
This broadcast is powered by FIRS, Federal Inland Revenue Service.
You see, as I talk to you plenty now, because I get glue too, that make me talk. Please, I be not be so. All right. You say I won't talk plenty. Una no self say I no dey lie. You see this glow? If you get them, una no go even una go just they talk they go because it's not there.
Enjoy international calls from as low as 40 kobo per second from Nigeria to the world. Call your loved ones today.
Thank you, my sister. You do well, eh?
Glow Unlimited.
Afe Babalola University at Dwekiti Airport sympathizes with its alumni, undergraduates, prospective students, and parents over the closure of schools due to coronavirus pandemic. As we await the lifting of ban on schools, Airport has put in place elaborate arrangements to guarantee the safety of staff and students as they return. These include the provision of soap and water dispensers, infrared thermometers, automatic sanitizer dispensers, smart temperature measurement and disinfectant channels, motorized modular fumigator, PCR machine, RNA extraction kits, COVID-19 test kits for antigen and antibody, nose masks, a biosafety cabinet, a holding bay, and all other accessories to prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection. At Abuad, the health and safety of staff and students, our priority. Abuad, a vision in action.
Today, night don't reach for me to settle blessing. Blessing for you. When this girl first got this my shop called network. Now also on top of Nta2 phone, I this girl go press. I provoke. I power no short in reach what time, eh? The obvious to make her tell her to make she master act. Come up from my shop. And later I come realize say this girl go snap her. Put her for inside internet. They take her to do adverts. Now I make customers that they come with my shop. Blessing, I want make you help me manage my shop now.
But I think Nami and Blessing start work the same time.
Now you and Blessing start work the same time. Blessing, you better start on the T-shirt for top of your 4G MTN phone.
Business makes sense on top super fast and reliable MTN 4G. Join MTN, make you enjoy double data.
Welcome back. Several violations were committed by a woman who got arrested by the police in Enugu for torturing her 10-year-old house help. The suspect allegedly scarred the girl with pressing iron before driving nails into her skull, the very height of inhumanity. Susan Eze has details of what happened after the story went viral on social media.
Having lost her father in 2012, little Norma Nade was given out by her mother as a house help to a relative, Mrs. Ifoma Ozugu, and her husband, Jude Ozugu, with hopes of a better education and a brighter future. The ordeal of the little girl in the hands of her guardians, who hail from Ako, Iwetiti local government area of Enugu State, same as the girl, is better imagined.
The time this girl not only to punch him back, but so tortured her physically and mentally. Driving a nail, can you imagine? Drilling actually a nail in 2 places on her head, and using hot electric iron, and you can see injury all over her body.
The bubble, however, burst when concerned neighbors alerted the police and a human rights group in Enugu, Women AIDS Collective, WACO, and the little girl was rescued. While the girl is currently receiving treatment at the State University Teaching Hospital, Parkland, the guardians, Mr. and Mrs. Ezugu, are in police custody.
We are happy that the police in Enugu is very responsive now and handle this case promptly, and we are moving to an important phase, which is prosecution. And until people are held accountable for their crimes and others see it, it cannot deter anybody.
On a good note, however, the Enugu State government has promised to offset Norma's medical bills and to take care of her well-being.
The governor of Enugu State sent millions of naira to enact the Child Rights Act. Government of Enugu State will not take this lying low.
Meanwhile, the Enugu State government has offered little Norma a scholarship to university level. Mother of the victim, Mrs. Nta2 Newsline, thanked the government and all those who played roles towards the rescue of her daughter. According to the Chief Medical Director, Parkland Teaching Hospital, Professor Na, the victim is responding to treatment and her chances of full recovery are high.
There are many others being tortured by their employers and guardians. It behoves on all of us to report any such happening in our neighborhood to the police. Now, for the Lagos State Police Command, it was a bumper harvest of suspected criminals in the month of June. It seems like the restrictions due to COVID-19 pandemic did not deter some criminal minds from misdemeanor. Leading the profile is a gang of alleged cultists said to be the mastermind of the murder of a rival cult.
We asked him to confess, and after he confessed, I shot him.
Video, camera, and many people are there, and I shot him.
Apart from this clique, the police paraded 30 suspects arrested for rape and defilement. Among the lot is 27-year-old Adeni Ajayi, an alleged serial rapist. He met his Waterloo after falling for a setup by one of his would-be victims.
the thing will just make me, I will just stand up. If I don't see any money to sustain with me again, I'll be looking for where they open down their burglary to just open their house. Why I did not know them, I will just go inside their house.
And when did you start this?
That was 2017/18.
And why did you decide to do that?
I don't know how to get a job, and I don't know who to help me because I have a family, but they did not turn up. Everybody, I was just taking care of their own family. They did not turn up on my head since my father died.
The command announced the recovery of 6 stolen vehicles and 328 bags of cannabis sativa, as well as other illicit drugs intercepted. 9 suspected fraudsters who operated by duping people using fake US dollars were also arrested, while a kidnapped victim was rescued.
So the victim happened to be a cow dealer. So fortunately now they know him, and it was the son of the victim that organized it. So the man just came in out in another part of the country with the cow. So after selling, I was about to go back. So the son now organized this. So they went for 5 days now. We are in the bush. So where the man was kept around the premises. Fortunately, so we were able to arrest. So the 5 people now rescue the man alive without any takeover paid.
Also among the beehive of suspects were robbers called One Chance, who steal from passengers on commercial buses.
Most of our friends, they do carry backup. Like if you pick somebody's phone now, in a commercial vehicle now, if I pick somebody's phone, I will just pass it to my guy at the back. He will sit as a normal human being there, like a normal passenger. So after I pick the pocket, now I will just pass it to the person. Me, I will come down. Probably now, if the person that has the phone now get to feel it, so that is my phone. If you contact him to come and meet me, you won't say anything with me. I will not take your phone. But if the thing is getting too much rosy, the person that passed the phone to, we drop it.
As they are being transported to await their day in court, their chant is to their creator to finish what he has started.
If found guilty, they will do time. The law is sacrosanct. Next up, a young man who fortunately survived electric shock after coming in contact with an 11 kVA power line in Asaba, Delta State, is still shaken up by the incident. Austin Ademodu, who paid a visit to the victim at the Federal Medical Center where he's receiving treatment, reports that the near tragedy has stirred up a controversy over a commissioned project.
At the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, lies a patient many have described as a man of destiny and luck. His ordeal all started this way. Close to 10 minutes, he battled for his life on an 11 kVA line as captured by Nta2 News crew spontaneously. Timely response from sympathizers who came to his rescue, reason for his being alive at this moment. The victim is responding to treatment from the doctor's perspective.
The bones is actually not that deep. We've examined it. We'll also be monitoring to see if it actually went so deep, because that's how electrical bone usually is, but it's at the level of what we call deep dermal and a few areas of foot thickness. And so far, he's doing well.
However, there seems to be controversy over the official identity of the victim, whom officials of the Benin Electricity Distribution Company have since denied as staff.
They brought some of the material in my shop. I work, some of the material is in my shop. It's NEPA people, not illegal connection.
We are still trying to unravel and to discover the identity of those people that may have been involved. But for all I can say now is that the 3 people you saw on the line are not our staff. We'll have our procedure of granting outage. Before anybody is allowed to walk on the line, the station operator will grant you outage. And until you are done and return the outage form to him, he does not energize the line.
Attempts to get further information from either the victim or this young lady who poses as sister has been futile. The lady at some point became more hostile to the crew.
I don't have any business with you. I want to see doctor. Are you a doctor? Are you not going to tell the beast? No.
Could this be the reason for her reactions?
We prescribe some dressings. Some are expensive and some are not so expensive. I already outlined it to him and also one of his relatives. And they said they're going to get back to us. But they also cited some financial constraints. And management of bonds generally is capital intensive. It actually takes a lot of money.
For now, the victim needs to undergo further medical examination, which require financial commitments. Having survived the initial ordeal, one hopes he surely overcomes the present situation.
Thank goodness he survived it. Care should be taken before others fall victim. Moving on, a popular Lagos cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Nta2 Newsline, has been dragged to court by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, for controversial services rendered several disgruntled patients. A series of complaints from clients who went under the knife in her facility is why she's facing trial. Tunde Saike reports on the proceedings.
In a 5-count charge leveled against Dr. Anu, address the underlying complaints. And this is about law and order. You cannot have a society where the regulators have absolutely no way of ensuring that operators in the businesses do not comply with the law. What we've done is to proceed with allegations and say, you know what, we want to get to the bottom of this. However, the allegations we have are serious and give us sufficient probable cause to proceed. And because there's a risk of injury to other people while we're making those inquiries, we decided that this business should stop while we're trying to determine that it is safe. That is all we're doing here. And that's why the place was sealed up. Earlier in the proceeding, the judge dismissed a preliminary objection by the defense counsel, Marian Jones, challenging the validity of the charges and the court's jurisdiction to entertain the matters. It will be recalled that the accused was alleged to have refused to respond to complaints against her from Marlene Oluwakemi, Taiwo Temilade, and Vivian Mwazoligbo that the surgeon services are unsafe for consumers. If, for instance, we think that something professional went wrong with respect to the licensed professionals who were carrying on the business, we would refer that to the appropriate regulatory professional authority. And for doctors, that would be the...
Stay-home data plan. All existing Glow customers now enjoy up to 20% more data. Dial *777# to choose a plan. Glow Unlimited.
Introducing the new Nivea Dry Impact and Dry Comfort Deodorant. Now with quick dry effect and longer lasting fragrance. Guaranteed to keep you feeling dry and fresh all day. Proven 48-hour protection and longer-lasting fragrance from Nivea.
Never get caught unfresh with the new Nivea Dry Fresh Deodorants.
Your hogs are a comfy place for dropping in, for lazing around, and hanging out. So we've designed our hugs to be just as comfy, with a super absorbent core to lock wetness away, and a soft, flexible waistband. Our most comfortable diaper keeps baby comfy at every angle. We'll never stop finding new ways to hug more like you. Huggies, your hugs inspire ours.
They told me you are the best around here.
What can I do for you, sir?
I want my own very, very simple. I don't want any shine. If I see any shine.
Actually, I'd love some sequins on my skirt. And I don't like any frills. I beg, I want frills on mine. But it must not be too tight.
Tight! That tight now, that is what I want. And the transition.
Oh, you know what? I want a gown. Me too. I want to come fine.
You know what? You have that Did you capture all the information?
Of course not.
Actually.
Fantastic.
I give my customers what they love because everyone has their unique style. So why should they wear the same thing? Just like MTN for me, which gives unique data and recharge offers just the way you like it. Just dial *121# and turn up great offers every day.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
From Chivita, the home of your trusted juice and refreshment brand in Nigeria, comes another first. Introducing the new cool Chivita in can. Enjoy the same great taste.
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Welcome back. You must have heard that schools in Lagos will partially reopen in the first week of August. With coronavirus still spreading within communities, Amaka Owo takes a look at measures in place to ensure that the safety of tomorrow's leaders is not taken for granted.
For several months, many parents and schools adopted the virtual learning system to engage pupils and students. This alternative has saved the gap following the closure of schools, in line with the stay-at-home guidelines for the prevention of coronavirus.
I miss my friends. I miss my school.
Lagos State government is set to partially reopen schools for those in transitional classes to return to classrooms.
The commencement date for this will be from Monday, August the 3rd, 2020.
Yes, I'm very happy. We've basically been preparing for this our entire lives.
Parents have raised concerns over certain issues.
The schools have to take responsibility up to the extent of instituting very serious social distancing measures, because the school is not full right now, so they can use several classes to do what they have to do.
How many parents can afford the masks? Again, are the schools ready to actually provide water and sanitizers?
Parents should first of all understand and believe in the existence of the coronavirus, because I think that is one of the major problems that we are having in Nigeria now. If your child says, I'm not feeling well, do not force that child to go to school, believing that they would administer paracetamol. This is not the time for that.
For the others who are yet to resume and still have to stay at home, their safety must not be compromised.
There's no need to ration soap or water or sanitizers at this time. When the children are going out, provide them with pocket-sized bottles of sanitizer so they don't have to depend on anybody.
As a parent, I've been very strict with my children. They don't go out to do anything. They don't go out to visit friends. They don't go out to buy anything. I buy everything that the family needs.
Giving credence to the above statements, 11-year-old Madia Obara says her parents make it a point of duty to educate her on how to stay safe from COVID-19.
They tell me that I should be very careful, that even if it's my uncle or aunt or cousin or friend that comes to me, I should move backwards, but in a nice way. I know that you have to wear a mask everywhere you go, and you have to go out when it's needed, and you use hand sanitizer when you need to, when you come back from anywhere.
For the students, they are preparing mentally and otherwise after weeks of being closeted. While schools work hard to meet the requirements for resumption, parents must prepare their children and wards adequately. Moving on, the hospital is widely considered a place of healing. This explains why public health centers are usually crowded with patients. However, there is currently a growing apathy for hospitals. In fact, some people now dread these facilities. Nancy Gadi Anunuwu investigates reasons behind this newfound phobia.
Hospital is usually the place sick people go to for consultation and drugs prescription. Today, the situation is, however, far from this reality following the fear of COVID-19. Many patients in Nigeria, like Boyi Abu and Paulina Andrew, now prefer to patronize pharmacies for their health needs.
If you go there now, they will tell you, say, the coronavirus. Meanwhile, I never have it.
So I don't want to go to the hospital because I don't want to contact the coronavirus in the hospital.
Even you have stomach pain, they will say coronavirus. So the hospital, the doctors have not even do their work to attend to people. People are dying.
Vitamin C, zinc, that is what mostly they come to look for. But some few of them came to treat malaria instead of going to the hospital because of the doctor not attending to them.
I want to say the patronage has been a little bit appreciated.
So they go to pharmacists, they go to...
Dr. Obinna Oleribe considers the distractions caused by COVID-19, fear of stigmatization, and the use of hospitals as isolation centers as some factors responsible for the patronage of pharmacies instead of hospitals for medical treatment. Some doctors and health centers are also said to be rejecting patients who present non-COVID-19 cases, resulting in a mutually shared distrust, fueled by fear of the virus, which has now claimed several lives.
Yes, doctors and nurses are actually distracted by COVID, so they are working to ensure that we do not have escalated epidemic in Nigeria. And so COVID takes priority over other common diseases like malaria.
Medical practitioners are, however, unanimous in their advice against self-medication.
Well, this COVID-19 is not an excuse not to come to the hospital. You see, doctors, when they prescribe drugs, they prescribe based on diagnosis. The other aspect is that for every patient coming to the hospital, like typically in National Hospital, people are screened for temperature.
At this very point in time, a lot of people are treating themselves on their own, and which is very wrong.
Nigeria's Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has warned severally that health workers should attend to patients who present non-COVID-19 cases. But the fear of the noisy killer is not helping. Medical practitioners say if attitudes are not changed, many more fatalities may be recorded as people are denied or refused medical attention. It could be a case of dying or killing many to prevent them from death.
As much as the fears are valid, self-medication is not an alternative to a hospital. If you have to go, please protect yourself. Still on COVID-19, desperate times call for desperate measures, and this certainly is a mindset of scientists as they continue to search for the coronavirus vaccine. And instead of waiting for a scientific breakthrough, some people, out of sheer desperation, are brewing questionable concoctions for consumption, claiming the substances can cure or prevent coronavirus. Annie Daniels reports.
Since the outbreak of the coronavirus in Wuhan, China, nations of the world have been mourning, ailing and fretting. Although measures like regular hand washing, use of hand sanitizers, maintaining physical and social distancing, as well as wearing face masks are in place as stipulated by World Health Organization to curb the spread of the virus, new cases have continued to emerge, with more deaths recorded.
Researchers and scientists are relentless in the search for a permanent cure for the virus. While humanity awaits the outcome, some Nigerians, out of desperation and apprehension, have resorted to seeking quick solutions, thereby patronizing local herb dealers. For instance, Sammy is a local herb dealer. She attests to enjoying high patronage due to COVID-19.
People do come around, I want to prevent corona, I want to prevent corona, so we give them. We have prevention for it, like neem leaf, lemongrass and turmeric, ginger. You boil everything together and you drink. No kata, nothing, you feel all right.
Like Sammy, Mama Odwa, another dealer, says this herbal mixture can help prevent coronavirus.
You will say, you go get a cough, this thing. I will give her medicine, you will go. Immediately you will go. I know one doctor called last week. I treat her. God will help me to treat her. He don't go.
Yes, dogoyaro leaves, lemongrass, ginger and garlic are in high demand this period for obvious reasons. Other respondents are doubtful of the accurate dosage of the virus herbal potions.
How they know that it can cure coronavirus? How they know it can cure? How many people they cure? Let them come out and tell the whole world this is the amount of the people, this is the quantity of the people who use native medicine and cure. Let them come out and tell the whole world so that the medical doctors will look after that.
With unanswered questions from the submissions of respondents and herbal dealers, I approached the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, a body charged with the responsibility of carrying out researches for infections like COVID-19.
We haven't had any proof to show that those things cure COVID-19 or prevent COVID-19. There is nothing that has shown that. No research that has shown that. So, but because they are things that people have been used to, they've been eating it for years. Well, we are not bothered if they do. It's just that when they start to mix them together, and it may produce something else which may be toxic. So we like to tell the public to be a bit careful on some of these things that they buy and use.
Listen to more.
We are now working on what people will probably consider impossible in Nigeria. I think some people may even be laughing as I'm speaking. Vaccine production. Because we have the whole genome of the virus sequenced.
Surprisingly, these local herb dealers agree to World Health Organization's directives. And for these respondents, creating more awareness on the dangers of not adhering to safety rules by WHO and the dangers of consuming these suspicious drinks would drastically aid the pushback against COVID-19.
The guidelines are clearly spelled out. People need to be mindful of what they ingest to prevent the virus. You don't want to die trying. We need your help on this next one. It's about a road accident victim who has so far spent 3 weeks at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, Delta State. He was rescued by personnel of the Federal Road Safety Corps, but with severe head injuries. Sadly, he lost his memory in the aftermath. His name is Shegun, and we desperately need to find his relatives. Austin Edemodu reports.
For now, he seems calm and relaxed. The case of this young man who has been named Shegu by the hospital staff is somehow complicated. It all started 3 weeks ago, according to the Chief Nursing Officer of the Mental Health Unit at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba, when he was admitted as an accident victim.
Well, the orthopedic teams manage him because it's essentially a case for the orthopedics. So the team managed him. He's still not coherent himself. He's still not cooperative. He does not have a control over himself. So most times he's restless. He's restless here. So his condition as it is right now It's a bit difficult to manage.
His condition is giving serious concern to hospital staff and caregivers within the unit.
The time they brought him to this place, he has been behaving somehow funny. If you talk to him, he will not respond well. He do speak Yoruba, but we here, we don't understand Yoruba. So we asked him questions about his people. He said he don't know anything about them.
Shegu speaks Yoruba fluently but somehow incoherently. With the aid of this woman, I tried getting some information from him.
Yes, so if you ask him, he'll be able to answer you a few questions. But sometimes we also doubt whether those things are very, very correct, because we're not too sure of his mental state.
Henry Okonkwo is the head of the social welfare department of the hospital. He says Shegu's condition is not helping much in contact tracing of his relations.
His name is not Shegu. The name was given to him by the matron in charge of the ward, because actually the man cannot remember who he is, can't remember his name. So we have actually contacted some individuals that are Yoruba, that speak Yoruba in the hospital, to come to his aid. They have actually come and looked at him to see if they can actually recognize him or talk to him and see if they can actually know where he's actually from. So they have done that, and they said they will actually get back to me on other things, because the man, nobody's with him, so he needs other things to actually take care of him, drugs, beddings and all that.
It is hoped that Shegu recovers from memory loss as quickly as possible so that he can once again reunite with his family.
Was really heartbreaking. All things being equal, the family members of the patient will come forward and we will update you. I'll pause a while for some commercials. Stay with us.
Close Up Deep Action with antibacterial formula and deep cleaning gel keeps your teeth clean and protected. Close Up Deep Action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breath and more.
So good to be here.
Me too, sure. I brought that specially for you. You see that sanitizer you're holding? That is my protection against germs. Germs are everywhere, and they're always in places like there, and there. These germs spread all sorts of illnesses, so we have to be vigilant and protect our health. And that's why I use Too Sure Hand and Surface Sanitizer. With 70% alcohol, Too Sure Sanitizers ensures that you stop germs and you live well.
Wow, so I can be sure of my protection from germs.
Not just sure, but Too Sure.
Auntie Too Sure.
Oh no, call me Auntie Too Sure. Too Sure Hand and Surface Sanitizer. Stop germs, live well.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
I'll spread my wings and fly so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
ICPC and NTA say you can help Nigeria to flatten the curve on COVID-19, just as you can help flatten the curve on corruption. Follow transparency, accountability, and integrity just as you follow health guidelines. Stay home with integrity and maintain your distance from corruption, just as you stay away from COVID-19 by maintaining social distance. Report every act of corruption to ICPC, just as you report COVID-19 to NCDC. Stay away from corruption, stay safe from COVID-19. Report any act of corruption to ICPC on toll-free number 0800-2255-4272. This message is brought to you by ICPC and NTA.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Welcome, dear. Have you washed your hands?
Inside my house again. This thing not the key black man.
I don't know if it's misinformation or poor hygiene that will kill you first. Coronavirus is real, and good hygiene practice will save your life. Anyway, no hand washing, no eating.
I will not take care of it. How's one of the parents? Coronavirus is real and it's on the rise. But you can help yourself and help others to be safe. Remember, we can stop the spread. It's in your hands.
This message is from the Akinfade Foundation in partnership with the National Orientation Agency with support from MacArthur Foundation.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's talk food now. It's called Shefan, but here we know it simply as goat's meat. Nigerians appreciate this protein and can whip up many local recipes with it. It's also not categorized as red meat, so don't let the bloody look cause you to think otherwise. Edith Young Iba takes a look at the nutritional value of goat meat.
Goat meat or chevon is simply meat gotten from an adult goat. This delicacy is very popular in Nigeria, especially in Akwa Ibom State, not just for food but because it is held sacred. This is owing to the fact that no traditional event is conducted without the use of the goats. While most of it is reared locally, a large percentage of what is consumed